Hey guys, sorry, I'm having throat issues. And today I decided to do a video on what love is to me, basically. Because I've seen this done several times and I really like the whole idea of it. Holy crap, sorry, I don't know why my face keeps getting so dark. So, I'm gonna do that. Holy crap. Love is that moment when you can be so confused and sad, but then it's just like this array of hope, and you can't describe it, and you don't want to believe in it, but then you look into it a little more and a little more till you're completely inside of it, because you're leaning in and looking till you finally fall. And the person that you fell in love with, if they love you too, which they really should, but it doesn't always happen like that, sadly, will be there for you forever. And love is forever if the love is mutual and real and true. Love is that moment when one of you can be in Indiana and the other one can be in Maryland, and you don't talk about it. You ignore it. You act like you are there. You pretend to be there. Love is about petty arguments, about who loves who more, or who can send the most hearts, or can't think of any others. Sorry, it's early. Love is about those petty arguments and those sweet things that you get told, those virtual kisses and hugs and cuddles, whatever else you want to talk about. And love is that feeling that even when you're not on the computer or tablet, someone's phone, that they're there. They're there and they're waiting for you, or that they're doing what you're doing, or just thinking back to when you guys are talking, or thinking when you meet and thinking about how you're going to hug them for 3 hours straight because you want to make up for all the hugs you haven't been able to give. Love is that moment when you go to bed every night and sometimes you can't go to sleep without imagining them there with you. Love is that moment when they help you conquer your biggest fears, when they help you not be afraid of thunder or whatever else you're afraid of, because they have good memories while that was happening. And so instead of associating it with yelling, you think of them. You think of one of the happiest days of your life. And, love is that moment when you can be so goofy and retarded, hilarious, and dorky, and they won't care, because that's you, and they know you have your moments. And, love is that true moment when they'll be dorky with you too. They'll be a little stupid, whatever you want to call it. They'll be that with you. When you find someone who will do that with you, I feel like that, in and itself, is one of the strongest points. Because, friends do that too. And while in a relationship, you should be friends first. I know a lot of people don't understand this. A lot of people do. Someone you get romantically involved with should have been a friend first. It shouldn't have been someone that you stalked from afar or only had a few classes and talked with a few times. You should have been at least friends first. Because that way, if it does fail, you don't have to completely disconnect. You can still talk. It just won't it might be awkward for a little bit, especially if one of you still has feelings. Unless it was a mutual breakup, then it's different. But I know that from personal experience that I would have, my last boyfriend before I met Ron, also one of the first times my I got depression, but he's talked to me once this year, and I still don't really know the real reason why he broke up with me. But that's off topic, sorry. But love is that moment whenever you're sad. I'm so sorry. Love is that moment when you're sad and you can think of them there with you, and it feels all better, and you don't feel sad anymore or lonely. Love is that moment when you're playing video games and you're talking to them, and you guys talk about how you wish the other one was there because you needed help, or love is using them kind of as your own personal walkthrough for a game that they've beat 1,000,000 times and that you've not beaten because you got scared of a urban legend, and so you stopped playing it for a month. Love is whenever you both share the same dorky interest, and that interest brought you to finding them, talking to them, and eventually falling in love with them. Love is that progression of saying I love you, from the simple heart and then the letter U, to heart and then actually spelling out you, and then to I, heart, and then the letter U, and then changing that letter U to the word, and then take away the heart and spell out LUV, and then a U, and then spell out you, and then finally spell out love. And then, in the silliest of forms, it turns I loves you, or I loves yous. Just, kind of playful. Love is that moment whenever you don't feel like you can go on, or you want to cut deep enough, or you want to overdose, or you feel especially suicidal, and you think of them, and you think of how much pain it would cause them, and you think how you don't know how they would survive without you, but at the same time, you're sure that they would make it through, but you don't want to think about that. You don't want to think about them living without you when you're truly in love. You want to think of them always there with you, and not think of how they would have to react if you weren't in the picture anymore, or if you had killed yourself, or love is that moment when you're actually happy. Love is that moment when someone like this makes you laugh and not feel so suicidal anymore. And love is that moment, that purely amazing moment when you get called beautiful, or perfect, or words that you've never heard in your life. Love is that initial shock when they say those words, and the confusion that comes with it. Maybe even the petty argument, but just hearing those words coming out of someone and them being towards you, even if you don't believe that they're true, it still means a lot, because hearing anyone say that sort of thing about you, it makes you feel less worthless, it makes you feel more important, and, you know, getting told I don't know what I'd do without you, and sweet, amazing things like that, they help. You know, even if you're sure they'd be able to move on if you weren't there, if you were dead, or whatever else, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, love is that moment when you don't know what each other look like until maybe a week or more in the relationship. Love is that moment whenever you're ready to do anything to show what you look like, to see what they look like. Love is that moment when you apologize because it's a crappy picture that you took at the end of school, and you're now, a month maybe out of school, and you haven't taken any pictures since because you're lazy. And love is that purely beautiful moment when you can just say I love you and it be returned, and you not waiting or get told yeah you too. You know, when they can actually say I love you too back. You know, love is that moment whenever you can go to sleep and they wish you sweet dreams, and somehow whenever they say goodnight you seem to sleep better. And then when you wake up in the morning, you make sure and you ask them how they slept and how they're doing, if they had good dreams. That's what love is to me, and I don't expect everyone to have the same opinion of love that I do, because love is so controversial. But I thought I'd go ahead and share my vision of love, because it might be kind of different that you've ever heard. But, you know, don't know. Well, see you in my next video, guys. Bye.